Hello, everyone. I am a former forensic officer and have worked for many years in the police force. Today, I want to share with you a terrifying possession incident that happened to a detective. A story I heard during my time as a police officer. I am grateful to my 2 grandchildren who listened to my old stories, put them into words, and made this video for you all. As police officers, we encounter various cases daily, and among them are some mysterious occurrences that science cannot explain. This story is one such case. It is a chilling tale that will send shivers down your spine. Before we dive into the story, I want to mention that this is based on first-hand accounts I gathered during my time as a police officer, with some embellishments added to ensure anonymity. Now, let me tell you about the terrifying possession incident that actually happened. Through this story, I hope you will understand what goes on behind the scenes in the police force and feel the human fear involved. Let's begin. This incident happened about 30 years ago on a cold winter night. That day, Detective John, a pseudonym, was on a night shift with his partner. Normally, night shifts are quiet, and this particular night was uneventful and peaceful. However, even a peaceful night can suddenly turn into an emergency. That night, John and his partner received a strange call on their radio. The report said, "We hear strange voices near the old abandoned hospital." This old hospital was a well-known haunted spot locally, with many paranormal activities reported in the past. Despite a sense of foreboding, John and his partner headed to the scene as part of their duty. Upon arriving at the scene, John and his partner were overwhelmed by the eerie silence surrounding them. Not even the sound of the wind could be heard, but from within the ruins, they could definitely hear some kind of voice. The 2 cautiously stepped into the ruins and began searching for the source of the voice. As they moved through the dark, cold ruins, the voice gradually grew louder. When they reached the source of the voice, they found a middle-aged man sitting on the ground, muttering incomprehensible words with an expression as if possessed by something. John approached the man and asked, "Police, are you okay?" But the man did not respond. While his partner called for backup on the radio, John began to observe the man's condition closely. At that moment, John noticed the man's eyes glowing an eerie red, and he froze in fear. Just as John was shocked by the unusual redness of the man's eyes, the man suddenly stood up and began walking, expressionless, straight towards the back of the ruins. John, stunned, chased after him, shouting, "Wait!" But the man seemed completely unresponsive, as if he couldn't hear anything. While his partner was calling for backup, John decided to physically restrain the man. However, the man, displaying unbelievable strength, shook John off and continued deeper into the ruins. The normally frail and weak-looking man was now exuding unimaginable power, leaving John bewildered but determined to keep pursuing. At the back of the ruins, there was a place that had once been used as a hospital basement. The man stopped at the entrance of this basement and stared at something. When John caught up, a cold wind blew from the basement, adding to the ominous atmosphere. John cautiously approached the man and called out to him again, but the man remained unresponsive. At that moment, a low growl came from the depths of the basement, causing John to flinch. The man suddenly began to shake violently, his eyes wide open before collapsing. John quickly rushed to the man's side to check his condition, finding him unconscious. His partner also arrived, and together they carried the man to safety. Later, when the man was taken to the hospital, he claimed to have no memory of his strange actions, suggesting he was possessed. Following this incident, John and his team initiated a more detailed investigation. They particularly focused on the old hospital's background, which had been abandoned for a long time but had a history full of mysteries and tragedies. They reviewed past case records, searching for any clues. During their investigation, John and his team discovered old records of inexplicable incidents that had occurred at the old hospital. These included mysterious deaths of patients in the psychiatric ward, and unexplained disappearances of doctors. One case that stood out was that of a psychiatrist who suddenly began acting strangely and eventually took his own life. This psychiatrist was rumored by patients to be possessed by something. John realized that the psychiatrist's name matched the name of the man who had been possessed that night. He pondered whether this was just a coincidence or if there was some connection. As they delved deeper, they found more records with the same name, further adding to the mystery. A few days later, a similar possession incident occurred again. This time, the victim was a young woman who had been walking near the ruins and started displaying the same inexplicable behavior. John and his team rushed to the scene and took the woman into custody, but she also claimed to remember nothing. These consecutive possession incidents reinforced the suspicion that the old hospital was linked to some kind of evil spirit or curse. To deal with this baffling phenomenon, John and his team sought the help of experts. They contacted local mediums and paranormal researchers to assist in investigating the old hospital. Sarah, a pseudonym, a medium with extensive experience in solving paranormal phenomena, was called upon to assess the situation. Sarah visited the old hospital and performed rituals to sense the energy at the site. She detected a strong negative energy swirling within the ruins, especially in the basement area where the psychiatrist had worked. Sarah was convinced that something was trapped in that place. With Sarah's help, John and his team continued to dig into the past records. They uncovered terrifying truths about the incidents at the old hospital. The patients handled by the psychiatrist were believed to be suffering from severe mental illnesses and were thought to be possessed by evil spirits. The psychiatrist himself eventually fell under the influence of these entities, leading to his madness and ultimate demise. Through Sarah's ritual, the true identity of the spirit haunting the old hospital was revealed. It turned out to be one of the psychiatrist's former patients, a particularly powerful spiritual entity. This spirit had remained at the hospital, even after its closure, possessing those who visited. Sarah proposed a ritual to pacify this spirit, and John and his team prepared to assist. Sarah decided to perform a special ritual to calm the spirit. This ritual required specific tools and preparations, and John and his fellow officers helped gather the necessary materials. The local community also contributed, providing the required supplies and information. The ritual was set to take place at midnight in the old hospital's basement. At midnight, John, Sarah, and the team gathered in the basement. As candlelight flickered, Sarah began chanting ancient incantations. As the ritual progressed, the air grew heavy, and a cold wind swept through the basement. John and his team followed Sarah's instructions, continuing the ritual despite their tension. Suddenly, a low growl echoed from the depths of the basement, and the spirit manifested. Its appearance was terrifyingly distorted, reminiscent of the former patient. Sarah confronted the spirit, engaging in a powerful spiritual battle. John and his team, despite their fear, supported Sarah throughout the confrontation. Through Sarah's strength and the effectiveness of the ritual, the spirit gradually lost its power and eventually vanished. The air in the basement lightened, and the cold wind ceased. John and his team, relieved and astonished, witnessed the miracle unfold. Though exhausted, Sarah was grateful for the successful completion of the ritual. Through this incident, John and his team learned the fear of facing entities beyond human understanding. They realized the existence of phenomena that science cannot explain, and the need to seek ways to deal with them. This experience not only contributed to their growth as police officers, but also as human beings. This event reaffirmed the importance of kindness and compassion for John and his team. Sarah's courage and dedication, along with the teamwork demonstrated in confronting the spirit, taught them the value of supporting each other. No matter how terrifying the situation, trusting and helping one another is key to overcoming challenges. Through this video, I hope you gain insight into the mysterious occurrences behind the scenes in the police force, and the courage of the officers who faced them. The lesson from this story is the strength and kindness of being human, and the bravery to confront adversity. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, we would love to hear about your own mysterious experiences, or any advice you have for my middle school grandchild, who created the text and edited this video using a handy editing software. Please share in the comments.